welcome to the Cooking with Carter equipment series. This is going to be a series that is dedicated to some of the items that I use in my kitchen. We're going to go over 3 items today. This will feature in later episodes. It'll feature my skillet, my deep fryer, my large George Foreman, things like that, you know, that I use and why. It'll kind of give an explanation on how I use them as well. For the first piece of equipment today we're going to use, it's basically your standard omelet maker. Right now it's in the closed position. Whenever you get one of these, make sure that you wash it and rinse it off in the closed position and also in the open. So this is what it looks like in the closed. I'm going to turn it so you can see it from the horizontal and from the vertical. And I'm also going to go ahead and open this up. They have a little handle that you can open up with here. Now, you'll notice in this you've got 2 sides, and that is so that you can flip, and I'll show the flipping action in just a minute or two. What you want to do first, of course, is wash the inside real well. Don't use anything that any kind of steel wool or anything on these. You can use like a regular sponge or anything like that. Basically just soap and water, real easy to clean. What you're going to do is go ahead and take your meat, if you're going to make any kind of omelet, your sausage, your ham, whatever you want to use, you can go ahead and cook this on the stove top. It's, lays perfectly flat. You can put your ham and sausage and, whatever meat you want inside the omelet maker, and then go ahead and actually take your eggs and cheese and your milk and everything else and mix that together in a bowl, pour it into the same section that you have your meat in, and then after about 6 to 8 minutes, what you want to go ahead and do is close this up. And this is new, so it's a little bit stiff to use. Once you do that, you can close it and then just turn it over. And you notice that this won't come open because it'll be sitting on the stove top to turn. So basically, that's what you're going to want to do. When you go to take this out, you can open it either way. You'd probably prefer to flip it back over. And the egg and everything is going to form into the shape that you see here. You can use a non-stick spatula. You can use a plastic or wooden one. You really want to avoid using metal because it will scratch up the inside. So that's going to cover our first piece of equipment. We'll be right back on the Cooking with Carter equipment series to show you the next couple pieces. We'll see you in a bit. Alright, hello and welcome back to the Cooking with Carter equipment series. For our second piece of equipment today, what I want to show you is the standard waffle maker. I'm going to show it to you first in its closed position. What we've got is we've got the red indicator light to show when it's actually heated. Of course, you would plug it in to your standard wall outlet or your standard extension cord. Very simple to figure out. I want to show you the opening mechanism on this. If you take, I'm left-handed, so I take my left hand and feel under the bottom of the carrying handle, there's a little lip. If you just take that lip and open it up, lift up on the lip there, it'll pop right up. Now, one thing to say before we start this is always spray these down with a non-stick cooking spray. You can again use any brand that you wish to use. Make sure to spray the top and make sure also to spray the bottom thoroughly because they will stick when they become heated, okay? And it depends on the batter that you're putting in as well. Now that you've seen it from its front side, I'm going to turn it to the side so I can direct a little bit and show you kind of what things I'm going to be doing. Okay, the first thing is, this is actually about 1 inch deep. It's just over one little width of my finger. If you see where the line is on my first finger right there, my pointer finger, it's right where this first line is. So that's how far in you can go with batter. Now, for putting batter in, I recommend a spoon like this. It's not very deep, but it's very big, and it can hold a little bit more batter than you would think. And what you're going to do is you're going to pour the batter in like so, and it will actually come up to the top, but you don't want to fill this to the capacity of it. That's why I use a spoon like this. One of the things that people will do is they want to use a ladle like this. And the ladle, you'll note, is smaller but it's deeper, and that's the problem. When you use too much, it will, when you go to close it, it will overflow and spill out everywhere, and that's not what you want to do. So you want to use the first spoon like we showed you, and you can make 2 waffles. You can see that it's divided on your left side here and your right side. So basically that's it for that. The cleaning instructions are pretty simple. Basically, you do not want to submerge this in water. That's not something that you want to do. There's actually 2 ways to clean it. You can go ahead and wet a cloth or a dish rag and wipe it out. I recommend after it's done, you scrape it out with either a plastic utensil or a you can use basically anything that's non-metal. That way you can get to it and you want to do this right after you're done with it, right after it cools down. Don't let it sit for too long, because that way the ingredients don't stick as bad and with the spray there.
I have a quick question that pertains to before you have to clean it. How do you get the waffles out when they're done?
All right, that is actually a question that I've received a lot. There's a spatula that I have. Okay, basically what we've got is, notice how this spatula has an angle to it. It is not straight down. The handle kind of slopes down. The reason is because what you want to do when the waffle forms, you're going to come underneath, and this is why you spray it down thoroughly. And once you get underneath the lip side, you just go underneath like that and let the spatula handle come down to you, because what that will do is pull it out. Now, one of the other things that you can also do, and this is a cheap way of doing it and a very easy way to do it, pick your waffle maker up, get your plate, and turn it over. Because if it's sprayed down thoroughly, they will fall. Now, they're not always going to fall perfectly if you do it that way. But if you have a problem and they do stick, that's where the spatula can come in handy. Now, can you use a fork? Yes, you can. If you use a fork, don't stab all the way through to the waffle, to the other side of the waffle. You want to very carefully try it, because it's going to make these little pop-up sections. It's going to make these sections in the bottom, and when you close it down, it's going to make them in the top. So it takes about 3 minutes to make the waffles. When they come out, what you're going to see from the impression is the top is going to have those little puff-up sections here that I was talking about. You can take a spoon, you can go up under there like that, you can take your spatula and lean it up. So see how the further I go up, the deeper the spatula goes into it. Then lift it down and let the waffle come onto the spatula, so we'll show that. We'll show that in a show coming up in Season 2. Okay, we'll be right back with the piece of equipment number 3 for the first show of the Cooking with Carter Equipment Series. We'll be right back. Welcome back. For our next piece of equipment we're going to show today is just your standardized sandwich maker. Now, this one is not very standardized because I've actually had this piece of equipment for about as long as I've been cooking. It was passed down from my mother to me. I want to show it in its closed position and notate a couple things. In the front here, there is a latch that will hold the sandwich maker closed. As you can see, that latch is not there, but it can still be used and work just fine. First thing I'm going to do is open it up and let you see it in its full frontal view. Okay. Now you'll notice you have basically a triangle here, a triangle actually here, and both of those on each side. Okay. There's a top and a bottom to it. This is probably one of the most universally used pieces of equipment in the kitchen that I know of. Couple things. You can use any type of bread in this. The only thing that you want to be aware of, that the bread is not on the outside of the metal plates of the sandwich maker. I'm going to turn it towards me so I can just explain it just a little bit better and so I can see where I'm actually pointing.
So basically, like the just the square types of breads, not like the rounded ones.
No, you can use the rounded ones, but what you want to do, you want to trim those up so that it can be round, but just make sure that the round portion is not on the outside of the square. The square has a rim around it, so you want to make sure that that bread that you lay is inside this rim on each piece, because it will do fine for the top and the bottom. So that, with that being said, this basically is very simple to use. What you're going to do is plug it in. This heats up very quickly. Be very careful. Spray it down again, just like the last two pieces of equipment we showed with any non-stick cooking spray. Sorry about that. You can either do this one of two ways. You can actually make your sandwiches within the sandwich maker and not use a plate. I prefer to make the sandwiches on a plate first, put them on my handy dandy little spatula, sit them inside. A spatula like this is very handy to use in this situation, but I also have my metal one, which is in the dishwasher right now, which I prefer. Once you sit these down, if you put cheese or condiments like anything, mayonnaise, mustard, ketchup, anything like that, be careful, because it gets so heated that it can burn. So you want to watch, and you basically would sit your bread in, sit your meat, condiments, cheese, and all that inside, and then put your top layer of bread on and close it down just like this. Now this one, it will sit about right here. Once the top layer of bread is on, just press down, and you will hear it when you press down, because you can tell that it's actually cooking the top. Now, depending on how cooked you want your sandwich and how toasted you want your bread, about 5 to 7 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes at most. You can make tuna melts. You can make grilled cheese sandwiches. You can make ham and cheese, bologna bagels. You can do just about anything in a pita bread. This thing makes some of the best tuna melts on the market, and I love actually how quick and easy it is. Real quick to clean it. Do not submerge it in water. Damp cloth, damp sponge, a little soap, rinse it out. Very simple to use. So, that concludes this episode of the Equipment Series. We'll see you soon with our next coming episode. Take care.